Hey, what's up, guys? Eric here, and we have to have a candid conversation about the future of entertainment media based on where we are right now and where we're going to be sometime in 2026. So, as you know, we've been keeping up with the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery, primarily Warner Brothers, but it seems like with enough money involved, they might be willing to part with the entire thing. But right now, it looks like Warner Brothers is up on the block. And we could be talking about a wholesale of all of it or individual IPs, individual pieces. We're not totally sure, but we do know that Ellison over at Paramount Skydance wants Warner Brothers. And they've tried to get it a few times now, and they've been turned away. And a lot of people in the industry say that this would be worst case scenario for entertainment as a whole, similar to Netflix getting a hold of Warner Brothers. And I feel the same way. I think this is a really bad situation. We've talked about it at length on the Nerdcast. Make sure you subscribe and watch us live every Monday and Thursday. But I've talked about this at length. I don't think it's good for the industry to have Warner Brothers, one of the largest competitors to Disney, be put up for sale, and then whatever happens to them, which none of it seems like a good thing. Which would leave Disney pretty much in charge of all massive entertainment. I know people want to believe that this would make Warner's a competitor for Disney at a larger scale. I don't believe that. I think it would weaken Warner Brothers as a brand. And looking at what some of the things that Ellison is saying, I do feel like we're talking about a changing of the brand of entertainment in a way that would weaken it and would make Disney the clear winner. And we would not see a lot of the entertainment that we were seeing previously coming out from Warner Brothers. So we have this tweet here. It says, David Ellison, Hollywood's first millennial mogul, wants to rewrite the industry's DNA, building an alpha male skewing empire that some fear will entwine the studio's content more closely with MAGA messaging. Now, if you guys aren't aware, I do run two channels. I have my channel here, Eric's Reloaded, which is the first channel I ran for years and years and years. And I have AirrickDebunks, which is a channel where I tackle misinformation, disinformation. I tackle social topics, political topics. I try to keep them separated because I wanted to give the viewers an option of like, hey, do you want more content like this? Do you want more content like this? You can choose. But as it seems with this new administration coming in, and we've talked about this on the podcast, it gets even more difficult to separate entertainment from the government because the government wants to take over everything. And this is something we have never seen before in our lifetimes, where the government wants to control media this way. I know a lot of people would say, oh, but what about this and this and this? Yes, individual directors, individual writers, individual actors, artists, whatever you want to call, they can put out the kind of media they want to put out. And I don't even have a problem with that. If there's a director that wants to put out like some sort of show that appeals specifically to quote unquote alpha male skewing audience, if they want to do that, that's fine. But I think when you have the head of a studio, someone with all of this power saying that this is the kind of content we're going to be making and aligning with a specific political ideology, like blatantly doing that, that is a problem. It is a problem for all art. It just is. And this is why I've been against censorship for a very long time. If you've ever watched me in any of my live streams, or if you've ever watched any videos where I've covered this before, I don't like censorship in any form. And by saying something like this is a form of censorship. It is a form of controlling the media. And then we have another quote here. It says, it's the Wild West and these are the new cowboys, says producer John Peters, who ran Sony Pictures from 1989 to 1991. Things have changed, and now we're moving into the biggest revolution that you and I will ever see in our life, which is AI. So then we have someone here who is also part of this interview that we're going to look at in a second, just bits and pieces of it, saying that AI is the future. So we're talking about not only removing the ability for artists to create art with Warner Brothers being acquired by Paramount, which what makes you wonder what Paramount's going to look like in the future because of this. But we're also talking about removing creativity and replacing it with AI. You guys know I'm not a fan of AI. I think AI is shit. I think replacing creative people with AI is garbage. It's unethical. It's anti-art. And I will stand by that. Again, I will gatekeep the fuck out of art against AI slop. I just will. All right, so over on this article, there's two things highlighted here that I wanted to talk about. And the first bit here says, Hollywood may be weary of the Ellison family. The WGA called the prospect of Paramount buying Warner Brothers Discovery a disaster for writers, for consumers, and for competition. And it vowed to work with regulators to block the merger, but an industry still reeling from the collapse of peak TV has been re-energized by the emergence of new deep-pocketed buyer, and Alice's credit Ellison for embracing an expansive vision. This is why I have said for a long time that getting mad at the creative people and not the people at the top end is one of the biggest misdirections we've ever had on YouTube. If you're going to be mad at how things are in the industry, you have to look at the top. The people with the money that are investing into these things, that are putting money into these things, that are controlling these things, that are buying these things, that are owning these things, it is ultimately their decision on all of this. Any bit of entertainment that we've enjoyed over the years has been through sheer luck, honestly, based on what these people at the top end know about creativity. They don't know anything. The creative people are always slaving along to these people with deep pockets that own these companies and control the narratives. This is a problem. And coming along and outwardly saying that I want to specifically take these two large companies, meaning Paramount, Skydance, in this direction of a MAGA audience, that is the direction you want to take it, 100%. And then you want to pull Warner Brothers into that. That is a problem for creativity, and everyone should be worried about that. I don't care what you support. Everyone should be worried about that. If anyone comes along and says, I am only making media with this large company for a specific political ideology, that is a fucking problem. It's just a fucking problem. And then here we have this quote. They clearly have a long-term point of view, says Jessica Reif Elrich, Bank of America Securities Senior Media and Entertainment Analyst. They have a plan to invest in more compelling content, and they are executing on it. And that's because Ellison is following the playbook of just try everything, break things, doesn't matter, whatever it takes to get to where you are. And people, I think, are sort of fed up with it. But the problem is that you're fed up with it too late, because you didn't listen to the people who were out here telling you that all of this was a bad idea. And now here we are on the cusp of all of this. And there's really not a lot that can be done, because I think the government itself is in support of this. We know that Ellison has favor with the government. So any sort of like buyout that happens, I think it'll probably be expedited and pushed through very quickly. I'd be very surprised if there's any pushback at all from the government. And look, I know you guys are thinking, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to talk about this. I just want to watch TV and have fun. I do too. That's why here on my Reloaded channel, I've tried to keep it as close to that as possible. But it is becoming more or increasingly difficult for me to separate the things, because they want so badly to control media. Now, as much as people would have complained, oh, X person did this virtue signaling, or whatever your complaint might be about the studios prior to this, there were still people in the industry able to make things that they wanted to make, regardless of what their social, religious, political leanings were. They were able to make what they want. When you have a person, an individual person or family buying up large companies and then saying, this is the direction we're going to take these companies in, it is going to be censoring a lot of that stuff. Do you think we'd get something like Sinners under Ellison? I don't think so. I don't think we'd get something like that. It would be something that just wouldn't come out. So Warner Brothers being acquired by someone that wants to take a studio in this direction is a really, really, really bad idea. And Netflix isn't any better. We've talked about why the Netflix thing is a problem. So for me, it's very easy to look at this and go, I don't want this. I don't want this. Not because I care that somebody wants to make content that I'm not interested in. I'm totally capable of ignoring TV shows and movies that I don't like. But the problem is he would be acquiring a studio that has a large amount of IP that is loved by people across all political aisles, across all social aisles. It is a studio that puts out media for literally everybody to watch. If you want this company to buy this, if you want Ellison to buy Warner Brothers and change it up, you are actively anti-art. You just are. You just are. If you are a champion of this, you are actively going after art in a way that would fundamentally censor art for everybody. And that is not good. So I don't know which way this is going to go, but if it goes to Paramount or Netflix, I think Warner Brothers is cooked. I think it's cooked. Any bit of creativity that comes out of it is going to be scrutinized and censored. And that's crazy to me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions of this down in the comments below.